Well, Jose,
What are the right words do I have with this shit? Frustration, that's what.
we'll go over our team's seasons and then go over their postseason flops. You want to go first or should I?
You first. Because let's just say that if I were to go first, I would be all out on this crap.
I wouldn't blame you. That said, let's start with the Mets. They started off the year tremendous. I don't know what the record was on June 1st, but they had a 10.5 game lead on Atlanta. And then what happens? They're stuck playing keep away most of the year. And then you get to September. On paper, they had the second easiest schedule for that month. And what do? They basically play 500 ball, which essentially, to me, equates playing with your food, including getting swept by the Cubs and getting swept by Atlanta in the penultimate series, costing the division, and a bye week. What the hell was Buck thinking, more so in that series with the Cubs than with the Braves? If he chose to start Trevor Williams in Chicago instead of David Peterson, then maybe we would have been division champs and gone into the postseason for a bye week. But no, he chose Peterson.
He chose death, pretty much.
And then comes the whole deal with Atlanta, where people were speculating that through legitimate sign stealing, i.e., Acuna basically putting his hand on his helmet to signal what pitch was coming whenever he got to second. And the fact that Atlanta had used that as the base of figuring out the ace pitchers. Basically, with Bassett, Bill Walter lost faith in him down the stretch.
Jesus.
Then you get to the series with San Diego. Scherzer can't do anything. DeGrom has a outing, but then against that, you can question Musgrove putting sticky or hot stuff on the ball, which increases the spin rate. You could debate that, right?
Yep.
But seriously, one damn hit in sudden death, Ivy. One damn hit! Are you kidding me?
Poor Mets. Mets had it worse.
Got that right. And now with the agency coming up in the offseason, you got 6 guys you need to keep at all costs. You need to keep DeGrom around. You need to keep Bassett, Carrasco, Nimmo, Walker, and Diaz. If they walk, this team is fucked next season.
Same can be said for Aaron Judge.
If just one of them walks, this team is fucked next year.
Exactly.
Everything right except the deadline. Everything right except the damn trade deadline. Where Epler buckled and couldn't pull the trigger on getting guys like David Robertson. Guys like, who else were they pursuing? Josh Bell, Juan Soto, and so forth. Failed to pull the trigger on getting those guys.
Because this is the Mets. What do you expect? I share your frustration because the Mets are in the same home as the Yankees. And the Yankees, Jesus God, they were doing...
If you're using this for your... If you're going to use... Please, we beg you, use this video as a base for the Met and Yankee portions of your Haters Guide to the World Series 2022 video.
That would be down with that. My God. The Mets were doing well, and then they blew it.
At the end of the day, the Mets mantra should be 6 words next year. Do not play with your food.
Exactly. Don't play with your food. That's exactly 6 words. Nice, Mets.
Thanks.
And now it's my turn. And oh boy, how do I start? I mean, let's be frank here. The Yankees started off well. In April, you had 15-6. April, May, June, You guys were doing great. They were doing
And,
very well. And then
and then,
July, that's when things started to crater.
yeah,
I
you guys
swear,
were
how do you
500
lose? How
after
do you lose
July
9
9th.
away games? Seriously, July we were 13-13, and you lost 9 games. You lost 9 games away.
I mean, in my opinion, July is where the Yankees fell off the cliff. 64
Yeah.
and after July 9th, you basically played 500 ball.
Yep, after July 9th, everything kind of went to shit. You guys were on you were on a 3-game losing streak, but then you got wins and then you got losses again.
Mm-hmm.
My God. And then past that, then August was where things really went downhill. 10-18. I mean, you had 5 straight losses, then another 3, then another 3, and then another 3 straight.
Which
And
allows,
then you have another 3 straight losses. How do you do
allows
this?
Tampa to get close to you guys.
You're the fucking Yankees. You're the
Blame-
fucking Yankees, and you pull this shit?
Blame
You
Coon.
disappoint me as a New Yorker. I am
Blame-
ashamed to be a fan of the New York Yankees. I'm ashamed.
I'm about as ashamed to be a fan of the New York Mets, a New Yorker born and raised, now residing in the Carolinas.
Well, I had no idea. That's something I didn't know about.
What, that was born in New York City?
Yeah, I did not know you were a New York native. You were once a New York native. That brings a smile to my face, honestly.
I mean, my voice doesn't really sound like your traditional Southern hick, does it?
Yeah, because I'm a hit. No, it doesn't. But anyway, September was where things picked up better. You were like 17-8, and you had like a few win streaks here and there, especially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 win streak. But it doesn't excuse the fact that you had a bunch of losses along the way.
Yeah.
And then October, 3-3, and you almost. I thought you almost were gonna blow it because you lost like 3 last games, 2 straight before the postseason. And I mean, Jesus Christ.
If Miami had gotten a base hit with the bases loaded in the 7th, we would have gotten that division title.
Yeah, you would have gotten the division, but you didn't. And believe me, let us not talk about how the postseason went because, my God, you guys almost blew it against Cleveland. How do you almost lose to Cleveland? AKA the one team that you rip apart all the time. I'm not kidding. Hold on 1 minute. Anyway, like I said, how do you guys almost blow it to fucking Cleveland?
Well, wasn't the 97 postseason an exception where Cleveland beat the Yankees?
Let me look at that. 1997 New York Yankees. Because I know the Yankees did not win the series in 97. That much I know of.
Yeah, it was Cleveland, Florida that year.
Oh yeah, the ALDS. Oh my God, how do you freaking blow it? The last time you lost to the Cleveland Indians was in 97, and you almost blew it. You got lucky. Almost blew it again. I know. But then came the ALCS.
And the one team of the Yankees that kryptonite is to Superman, the fucking Astros.
The fucking lol Astros, those cheating bastards. I still feel they cheated to get that ring.
We know they cheated to get it. And we know Boston did the same thing a year later.
Yeah, and they nearly got fucked for it. And let's ask ourselves, how do you fuck this up? You know it's bad when tickets for game 4 drop to about $20. I am not kidding. It dropped like from $100 to about $20. That's like a massive loss. And you pull this shit, you got swept.
But honestly, then again, Houston has had your postseason number since 2015. Remember the wild card game?
Oh, I remember the wild card game. That was like an embarrassment. And they got wrecked in, I believe, the World Series not once, but I mean, in the ALCS not once, not twice. This is the third time. The last time was in 2019. And then the Astros got their asses kicked by the Nationals, which good for them.
Only because Washington managed to change up the signals.
Thank God they did, because the Astros did not deserve to win another World Series. And I am like frustrated. How do you blow it? But here's the thing. Nobody cares about your 99-win season. Nobody cares about that at all. For Aaron Judge, on the other hand.
Nobody cares for the Judge 62
being 62 home runs. I am happy for Aaron Judge. My problem is that he's going to end up in free agency. And if he ends up in free agency, the Yankees are fucked.
He's going back to San Francisco.
Yep. He'll probably go back to San Francisco and be on a better team. And that's going to be upsetting for me as a Yankees fan, as well as everyone else. Because here's the thing. Aaron Boone needs to be fired now. I don't really give a damn. Same for Brian Cashman as well. They both
Let's
have
just
to
hope that
go.
for your sake, Louis Rojas is not the one promoted to manager if Boone gets the pink slip. Because you already know my hatred towards that son of a bitch with how he basically blew it for the Mets last year.
He needs to go as well. Honestly, management needs to blow it the fuck up.
But you do remember all those fire Rojas rants I did last year, right?
Oh, yes, I remember those. Those were like, Jesus God.
The guy had no logic and always crumpled whenever the team got plagued by the injury bug.
Well, that was the injury bug seems to hit a lot of teams, and that alone already upsetted me because Jesus Christ.
But then again, we also dealt with a crustaceous cheapskate in the GM and fucking Wilpon.
Oh, yeah, the Wilpons. Thank God the Wilpons are no longer around, but I believe their influence still remains. But then I remember, and then I realized something. Reality is full of horse shit. You're used to seeing all those expectations
If
cross.
Lucha Underground were still alive, I'd throw the fuck Wilpon family into the temple and sacrifice them to the gods!
Wow, yeah. Jesus Christ. The Mets have their work cut out for them, as is the Yankees.
Yep. As for the World Series, at this point, I think you and I are in cohesion. We want the Phillies to win, even though
I want the Phillies to win. They haven't won a World Series since 2008. And honestly, they deserve it.
Yeah,
Besides,
this is a team nobody thought would get this far. The literal Cinderella. Worst team in the history of baseball.
I honestly didn't think they would do it. I honestly didn't think they would make it because if you remember every other time, the Phillies would blow it with their fucking bullpen.
But then again, when you look at what happened, once they got rid of Girardi, Robbie Thompson put the pedal on the team. He didn't push it to the metal like Snicker did. He just pushed it down enough to where the team would play good enough to where they weren't playing for a division title like Atlanta and the Mets were. They were playing just to get into the postseason. They leapfrogged San Francisco. They leapfrogged Arizona. They leapfrogged Milwaukee. And they did just that.
I don't believe it. That blew my mind. I've been hearing...
They took down St. Louis, ending Molina and Pujols' careers on a sad note.
Yeah, it is sad.
Took down Atlanta, a team that basically overtaxed themselves by putting the pedal to the metal as early as they did, that time they got to the postseason with the bye, they got gassed out.
Despite the fact that the Braves won the World Series last year.
Right. And then you get a team in the San Diego Padres.
The
Friars, a team that with guys like Soto, Machado, Bell, you think would pummel the Phillies. But no. I think the additions of guys like Robertson and especially Syndergaard, which really pisses me off at the deadline for the Phillies.
Yeah.
Regulating him to a bullpen arm for the most part has really revitalized Noah's career. He's not really overtaxing that elbow anymore.
Thank God. Noah was not good with the Mets. I'm not going to lie. Thor was not good.
He's adding more finesse with the curveball. He's relying on off-speed shit more often. He's gotten it down to where it's more like Bartolo Colon levels of finesse.
God, I miss Bartolo Colon. I'm not going to lie. I miss that guy.
Both as a Yankee and as a Met?
Yep. He was fun to see on the Met. He was fun to see. He was really fun to see.
True.
Didn't think that the World Series would actually come to this. The Phillies against the Astros.
A literal Rocky going up against the team that embodies the spirit of Rocky Balboa versus the team that's basically the Young Guns, the Apollo Creed from the first or second movie. But the thing is, two-fold question for the Astros. Can Dusty Baker and the team as a whole get the monkeys off their backs? In Dusty's case, nearly man stench. He never won it in San Francisco. He never won it in Chicago. He never won it in Cincinnati. He never won it in Washington. This is his fifth go-around.
He was a choking sack of shit when he was in the Nats. And to find out that he's actually doing better in Houston, of all places? Jesus Christ.
And he was a panic hire.
Let me guess. They were that desperate because they were falling apart.
No, it was actually it was a mop-up. No, it was the mop-up operation after the cheating scandal broke, and they fired AJ. They barred.
Oh, yeah, the aftermath of the scandal, which honestly they should have been stripped of their World Series, but it turns out for whatever reason they did not.
Hence why I called Dusty being hired by the Astros a panic hire.
Yeah, it was a panic hire.
And then for the team as a whole, Can they finally get the monkey of losing the NL East teams in the World Series off their back? 2019, lost to Washington. Last year, lost to Atlanta. This year, they're going up against Philadelphia. Common
They
thread,
deserve that loss last year. They deserve that. I hope the Phillies kick their
granted, they were
asses.
facing an Atlanta squad that was driven by wanting revenge on Rob Manfred for stripping them in the All-Star game because he bent the knee of the political left.
That's never a good idea. That's why I don't believe in that garbage. I'm more along the lines I'm in the middle.
I'm more on the national populace, the hard rider.
That's fair. I'm in the middle because I feel all the left and the right, they're just bad. Bad throughout.
I know the right wing has a few guys that are not and gals that are not squeaky clean, but at least they actually care for the people, unlike those on the left who are all about virtue signaling. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
In any case, that's the question for Houston. Will the third time be the charm? Can they finally get that monkey off their back? Can their pleading with the succubus finally get him a legit title? Or is she going to rip the rug out from underneath them again?
Only time will tell.
I mean, seriously, you thought Dodgers this year, but what blew the Dodgers up? Two things. One, Davey Roberts overmanaged and over micromanaged the series with San Diego. And two, when given a full season, he's got Bobby Cox syndrome.
Oh yes, that syndrome.
Essentially, you can do great in the regular season and win a division title year after year after year, and maybe a league title thrown in between. But when it comes to getting the World Series, never gonna happen. You need the season shaved in one way or another. In Cox's case, I believe about 18 or so games were shaved off due to the players' strike that carried over into the first bit of the 95 season.
Uh-huh.
And of course, in Roberts' case, COVID bubble season.
Oh yeah, the bubble season, which is the complete mess.
Complete waste. They never should have had the 2020 season anyway.
Yeah, because let's also be relating to this crap because the MLB needed money. First and foremost, money drives and greed drives it all.
But how do you make money when no one's coming to the damn games? That's the paradox.
There's also the fact that, well, advertiser revenue. Have you forgotten that? Because there's always on TV. You got to think of it like both ways because sure, you get like ticket sales and everything, but what about viewership? And viewership leads to revenue.
True.
I don't understand this stuff, but holy moly, it's a bit complicated.
Yeah, you should talk to my mom. She had more of a mind for marketing.
I know.
Oh, by the way, your mom liked the comment I posted on your Facebook page for her birthday.
That I appreciate. Yeah, at least that's a good thing.
Anyway, folks, that's our 2 cents on what killed the Mets and Yankees playoff runs this year. Let's hope the Giants and Jets have a better run in football.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute before we end it. Because the Giants, you guys, I'm a pessimist.
True.
The Giants are 6-1. Normally, I'd be happy, but there is this nagging feeling that the Giants are going to collapse. And there have been instances where they've been very, very lucky. Like last week's game. Last week's game against Baltimore, they got lucky. They got lucky due to a penalty.
And this week, you had to be, and yes, and 2 days ago, we were playing both the Jaguars and the damn refs.
That was like an uphill fight. And what makes it even more hilarious was that the Packers lost to both the Giants and the Jets. This pretty much tells you that Aaron Rodgers needs to go. The Packers need to realize that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to help them any further. He's way past his expiration date.
Especially when you consider he's basically forcing Matt LaFleur to let him make the calls on the field instead of letting LaFleur and the old coordinator, whoever it is, call the shot.
That's already a bad sign just waiting to happen.
And then with the Jets, Zach Wilson has been doing basically diddly jack and shit for me. I mean, and I watched the game Sunday against Denver. It was on CBS down here, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And Zach has been very lackluster when it comes to throwing the ball. And it's always been the ground game and the defense that's been bailing him out.
He's only getting lucky. That luck's gonna run out sooner or later.
And yet the Jets are 5-2. Their next game is against New England.
Oh dear God, they're pretty much boned.
Granted,
Because when you're up against the Patriots, you're pretty much screwed.
what about this, Carmen? You saw what happened last night. They got crushed by Chicago.
Yes, I know. The Bears.
And then for Giants, they're going to I think, a resurgent Seahawks. This could be a trap game.
Yes, it will.
But outside of those teams, did anyone expect? I did not expect Carolina to beat Tom Brady and Tampa.
I did not either.
I mean, that divorce has got to be eating away at Brady's head, taking away his focus.
Yes, it is.
Throwing the fact that he's 45 and he's basically getting to the point where it's past his prime. I mean, other quarterbacks in their generation are falling to the wayside. Matt Ryan, he's getting benched for the rest of the year by the Colts.
The glue factory does not disappoint. It does not disappoint.
If I wanted a Matt Ryan on the Colts, get the other Matt Ryan. Get me John fucking Constantine.
Exactly. I won't forgive the Colts for what they did to Andrew Luck, and they deserve to suffer for what they did.
Got that right. For Tampa, they got Baltimore on Thursday.
Oh dear, the Ravens.
The
Ravens have been choking. Have you not noticed that?
Oh yeah, I remember the game. I watched the game against Buffalo down here. Here a 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Jesus Christ. They're pretty much doing what Atlanta has been doing, choking.
Yeah, I mean, they choked against the Giants, choked against Miami, choked against Buffalo. Nearly choked against the Bengals.
Jeez Louise. This season has been crazy, and I thought last year was wacky. This takes the cake.
And then you throw in what's going on with teams like, say, Los Angeles, San Francisco. I mean, Stafford's got to be benched at some point with that rib issue.
Yep.
I mean, it's really crippling the Rams at this point. He's lucky that they had a bye this week. But LA needs to get a better line around him. And then there was the whole issue with Miami that you touched on with how they basically abused Tua for a bit.
Oh yeah, Tua. I still can't get over the fact that concussion he suffered. And as an NFL fan, that gotta really fucking suck. If there were any other coach, he would have been like out for the season for the sake of his health.
Didn't he also have a knee injury during a game he suffered against Buffalo?
Oh, yeah, he has a knee injury, too. I feel that they're going to be wasting his career. I know it.
Yeah, and he wasn't really all that effective Sunday against Pittsburgh.
Yep. And it's only going to get worse. And speaking of Pittsburgh, I feel Tree is already upset over the fact that his team, the Steelers, are being real shit. They're 2-5 now.
Send to the Tank Bowl, and they got Philly coming up. And I wouldn't be too surprised if during his stream on Sunday, every time the Philly pass rush comes at Kenny Pickett and throws him to the ground, we're going to hear him say, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny Pickett."
You bastards. Oh, this is going to be delicious. I can just taste it. I mean it. We're already like now in the 6th season. I mean, Jesus Christ, this season is going to be nuts. I am looking forward to this.
I mean, my brother-in-law can't be happy with the Lions, but then again, he's jaded by them.
The fact that the Lions are a complete shit show says enough. Not to mention the Giants got to face Seattle, which means they're in for a fight.
Mm-hmm. But the big question is who's getting the top draft pick? Houston or Detroit? Houston, Detroit, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Carolina, New Orleans. Any one of those teams could get that top pick. Not that the quarterback draft class is going to be all that good this year. Again, I mean, look at this.
I don't even know if it is going to be that good this year. That's the problem.
I mean, this past draft year, the teams only took one quarterback, and it was Pittsburgh taking Kenny Pickett at number 20.
In the first round of all things? Jeez, that's already a bad idea. Let's also not forget the fact that we have some. So we got, okay, looking at this, I'd say the Jets Oh wait, no, the Jets are about to. Oh, we already know the Jets are facing the Patriots. We already know the Giants are going to be facing the Seattle. Oh my God, this season is going to be insane. The Eagles are undefeated thus far, but here's the thing regarding undefeated teams: the moment a team gets to 5-6 or 6-0, it becomes a weekly obsession, wondering when. It's not a matter of if they'll lose; it's when.
And the question of to who. I mean, to be fair, there's only been really one team that's been a legit threat to Philly thus far. Ironically enough, it was the fucking Lions in the opener.
The Detroit Lions. Oh my God. The Detroit Lions are a complete shit show right now. 1-5, and it's not pleasant.
And I mean, the game against Dallas last week, you pretty much knew they were going to chew up Cooper Rush. That's why I was looking at that game from a mathematical perspective for the Giants. Do you want to be looking up at Dallas in a three-way tie, or do you want to be sandwiched between Philly and Dallas? I said sandwiched.
And that's what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, the Lions' biggest problem is their quarterbacks, and none of them have been good. Sadly, one of them ended up getting a ring, Matthew Stafford.
I thought you said cornerbacks.
No, the QB.
Why didn't Judge show up in the postseason? Simple, Raph. He got too complacent after he hit 62.
Complacency has its own negatives.
I mean, seriously, how many times did the Yankees strike out against Houston? Total?
Yeah.
What? Let me look it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is covered in snow with a river flowing through it, which looks as though it's on the verge of freezing if it hasn't already. The entire
2020 postseason.
Later versions of the game. Dungeons in the game featuring all new tile sets. Ultimately, a set of locales which feel far more distinct from each other than those are.
Okay, they had 41 going into the fourth game, right?
Mm-hmm.
The static water tiles which make up the world's oceans now have a few frames of animation.
Nope.
Although it is worth mentioning that the mountain ranges maintain the same appearance they had in the first, which made them shine in the sunlight. This was an aspect of the game's visual design which was brought on by the Kappa blue and pink coloration all black pick.
I do agree with you about one thing, Jose. Aaron Boone needs a pink slip. I mean, if you go casting outside circumstances as scapegoats for the reason you lose instead of holding yourself accountable, get your pack your bags and get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees struck out 9 times, so it was a total of 50 over the 4 games.
Wow, what a travesty. Jesus.
I mean, seriously, 50 strikeouts in 4 games. Average 12 and a half strikeouts a game.
This is just like a disaster.
It's no wonder the Yankees went belly up.
They didn't just belly up. They just crashed and burned.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I don't know if I'm even going to call any of the World Series games in the coming week.
The only thing I want is that the Philadelphia Phillies beat the ever-living snot out of the Astros.
I want to see the Phillies sweep the Astros and have the Philly fanatic teabag Orbit.
Oh, yes. And it would mean that Bryce Harper will finally get a ring. Because let's face it, Bryce Harper leaving the Nationals ultimately ended up helping them in the long run.
You mean helping the Phillies, not the Nationals, right?
Yeah, I know, but because let's be frank, the Nationals were going to handle Bryce Harper, so he ended up leaving for a huge amount of money. Hence why there are like 400 million reasons to die.
Granted, you gotta wonder how much longer until that contract becomes an albatross.
Only time will tell.
I mean, you look at Washington's issue with Steven Strasburg, the thoracic issues that bastard's had, hasn't pitched in years.
Yeah, that's bad. And I'm reminded of the Mariners with their own albatrosses.
Who are their albatrosses?
Remember Richie Saxton?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
He declined rapidly and became an immovable albatross that could not hit or field. They just had to cut his ass. And also fire Bill Bavasi.
And then, of course, you got Robbie Cano, who's been in and out of every team, but has become an albatross due to his drug issues. And you could say that for the Padres, you could call Fernando Tatis Jr. a bit of an albatross with his drug issues.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how things are going to pan out in this series. First stop, Minute Maid on Friday.
Yep.
I wonder if Bobby Thompson is going to be as infuriated or as much of a pansy to blame other circumstances as Boone was.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not, because even though look, Thompson did a great job turning the Phillies around and got himself a long-term permanent contract with the team. I mean, this is why the Mets and Braves. His example is the reason why Showalter and Snitker should have had the Mets and Braves respectively pace themselves instead of putting the pedal to the metal as quick as they did.
Yep.
Are you watching one of Clement's Final Fantasy retrospectives in the background?
Yeah, I'm watching a different FF retrospective. This one's a bit more better. From YouTube user Andrew Blewett, Bluett. This one is really good.
Which one is he on?
He did. I'm watching the one on Final Fantasy. He did up to FF3. I'm waiting until he does the SNES era. That's when the real fun begins.
Yeah, I don't mind watching some Call Me Johnny's retrospectives.
Yeah, me too. So all that remains now is to wait and see how this is going to turn out.
Yep. And let's just hope that the Liberty Bell rings. I do not want to see that train move at all.
Let it ring in victory for the Phillies.
Mm-hmm. Last year, I was willing to cave and throw down the tomahawk chop for Atlanta.
And they earned that.
This year, ring the fucking bell.
Ring it for Philly.
Philly, let me be blunt. You guys better take Houston down. I don't care if you have to go the full 7-game distance. Dog it out. Because this isn't about how hard you can hit the ball. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep going forward.
That's how winning is done.
Yeah, you got to take the hits and keep moving forward. Cowards, you go around blaming hims or hers like the Yankees did. That's what a coward does. And that's not you.
Yep.
You're damn right, Raph. Let's hope the Astros get destroyed.
Let's hope the Astros get wrecked, because that's the only thing that matters.
And Fanatic, you better smash as many Astro helmets in games 3 through 5 as you can.
Indeed.
I mean, I never met the Fanatic in person. Have you?
Me neither.
I mean, do you view him as the most popular mascot in all baseball, or the most recognized and beloved?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him, but I've never even seen him.
I mean, the fact that Lasorda actually got into a fight with him in '88 is funny.
Yep.
But then again, that's the job of the mascot to irritate the opposing team.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there's one mascot the Fanatic will never trump when it comes to out-irritating somebody.
Indeed.
I'm not talking about Mr. Met. I'm referring to Yuppie. You remember Yuppie, right?
Yes, I do.
And that instant that got him ejected from a ball game?
I remember.
I just can't believe an umpire would throw the mascot out of the game.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
Well, I mean, think about it. All Olympic Stadium's dugouts, the roofs are made of aluminum, and whenever the team would come back to the dugout and Rufy's on there, he's stomping wherever Lasorda is. It's pissing Lasorda off. At one point, he even tells Yuppie to get the fuck off of the dugout.
Wow. Just wow.
And then during extra innings, Yuppie is in a nightshirt and a droopy cap, sleeping on the dugout. And then Lasorda pokes his head out. Yuppie's
God.
not making any noise when he's doing this.
God damn.
And then Lasorda just tells him, get off the dugout, complains to Bob Davidson, pops the bubble, and tosses Yuppie.
Wow. That is so hilarious.
It's a shame that now as a hockey mascot, Yuppie can't pull that kind of stunt.
No, you can't.
Though you can bang on the glass where the coach is and piss him off.
Oh, yeah, that.
But that said, I mean, I find it sad they didn't bring Yuppie with them down from Montreal to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they would have to change him from Yuppie to Yippie, and that would piss everyone in Montreal off.
Mm.
Anyway, folks, that's our analysis on how this Met and Yankee postseason disaster panned out. Leave a comment, smash a like, sub to our channels. MegamanNG and Mets 218 signing out. Goodbye. Good night. Bang.
Peace out. At least I feel a little better.